Here's my impersonation of Jared Pullen. Jared Pullen, Frono's photo. Not even close. But the reason I say that is because Jared Pullen did an incredible review with the Sigma 300 to 600 f4, and he went to a wide variety of locations, traveled across the country to use this thing and put it in as many different shooting scenarios as possible using the Sony ecosystem. However, my experience was completely different. I was in one location in sub-freezing conditions, in sub-temperature freezing conditions. Is that right? It was cold. We're on a ski lift going to the top of a mountain, and we're about to photograph East Idaho's biggest snowmobile race. Right here in the middle of us, I have the Sigma 300 to 600 with a Leica SL2S. And honestly, I've never used this camera before. I've never used this lens before, so we're testing it in some of the most trying conditions. A few of the things that we're looking for and wanting to test is how well does it autofocus? And two, like how sharp is it at f4 at 600 millimeters? And just to give you kind of a backstory, there was literally no snow on the forecast up until last night. From what I'm told, there's only like 3 of these in the country. So let's not break it and let's get some pingers. There we go. That's like, I think it's the best shot of the day right there. Oh, here we go, got another one. But I've realized that the best shots are them coming, it's just like right as they're coming around the corner, I feel like they're kind of up on the sled or they're leaning into the corner. Those are the ones that I feel like the lens is performing best at. It's catching, but as soon as they're charging towards me, and I don't know if it's the camera itself or it's the lens, but it's really hard to maintain focus when you're at 300 and that machine is racing right towards you. So we're about to go down to another location, and I think that's kind of my mindset going into like the second iteration is I want to be more intentional when they're coming at me and when they're going away from me, because those moments are really precise in their time. And I think that's where kind of what I'm learning with this lens, but also with this camera, is where it excels, what are its limitations, and how you can best maximize it while you're out in the field. Kind of the sweet spot of where like this jump is for just like the one photo I want to get of this rider coming over the hillside here, and it's right at 300, and the autofocus is really good at 300, but like I kind of mentioned before, I feel like it struggles anything past the 300 to 400 mark. Like in between though, it does have a tendency to struggle, especially if the subject's coming towards you. But the 400 to 500, it's very nice, and that has probably been my favorite focal length with this lens. One of the true tests of any camera or lens is how well does it do in terrible conditions such as low light and freezing temperatures. Now that may sound extreme, but this is absolutely the case right now. The sun has well set where the track is illuminated by lights, really the ultimate test of whether or not we can still pull off incredible images at f4 when shooting at 12,500 ISO. How well does the camera perform? How well does the lens perform? And do they work together to create something magical? And that's what I'm about to find out. As you can imagine, I faced some serious headwinds in terms of battling available light. And so what I had to do was strategically place myself in a position where I could manually focus and capture the riders as they were going into certain spots within the track. Because at this point, the autofocus was not tracking. Overall, I'm pretty stoked with how the images turned out. Despite the challenges that I faced, I feel like I was able to come away with something very unique that a lot of other photographers were not capturing because of this lens. And you just have to know that when you are in the field and you are in challenging situations like this, that you have to be creative and strategic in how you photograph the event. So to get right into it, first and foremost, this lens was 100% sharp at f4, especially at 600. And this was a big thing for me. And that's probably important for a lot of other photographers or filmmakers. Can you shoot or photograph at 600 at f4 and it still be a very usable image, especially within this price range? And in my opinion, the answer is yes. If you're going to buy a lens at this focal length, you should be able to shoot wide open and be able to have 300 and 600, the starting and end point of the lens, be as sharp as possible, and I believe that they are. So props to you, Sigma, for making a masterpiece, so to speak. What limitations does it have? Jared Pollan made a profound remark in his review of this lens, and he brought something to my attention that I don't think I understood until I heard him say it, and that is, for example, when you are photographing something at 600 millimeters and you're tracking that subject, it is better for you with this lens to stay at 600 millimeters instead of zooming out to capture it. Because once you zoom out, the lens does struggle to maintain the tracking as that subject is moving towards you. So you're better off by keeping it locked in at 600 or at 300 or at 400, whatever focal length you're using, and just having the subject come past you, come towards you, whatever the case may be, as opposed to trying to zoom out and maintain focus at the same time. The Sigma 300 to 600 f4 has the potential to replace 3 different lenses. The 300 f2.8 by Canon, Sony, and Nikon. The 400 2.8 by Canon, Sony, and Nikon. And then the 600 f4 by Canon, Sony, and Nikon. Now, being able to take all 3 of those and combine it into one, no one has done this before. So that's why this lens is such a big deal and is disrupting the market, because you could replace all 3 of those with one lens at a whopping $6,000, which in my opinion is so well priced and is worth every penny of it, especially if you are in this business to do one of those 2 things, wildlife photography or sports photography. Last but not least, would I buy this lens? The answer is yes. If I were doing those 2 things all the time, sports and wildlife photography, 100%, because Sigma has made me believe in zooms again, and I truthfully mean it, that I think that their zooms are just as sharp as any prime. I don't think a lot of people are going to notice the difference between shooting at f2.8 and f4, especially at those focal lengths. So considering what you get and the price that you're paying, this lens is an absolute game changer for the industry. Are you excited about this lens? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it, and I can't wait to see you out there. Thank you for watching. Until next time.